What's going on, people? Welcome to Live Palace News. It is Friday, the 26th of July, as we're approaching another preseason game. That is tomorrow. But the news doesn't stop. We were here talking about Ismaila Sarr yesterday. If you haven't watched that, make sure to check that out. And also many more other rumors. And today, it doesn't stop. Today, it doesn't stop. As always, we want you to get involved. So make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the live comment section below. Tomorrow, we'll also be doing a live match reaction after the Crawley game and doing the watch along during the Crawley game. So there's a lot of content around the Crawley game as well. So make sure to check those out tomorrow afternoon. T, how's it going? It's not stopping.
Well, go on, bro.
Where you'd think after Sarr, you'd think, oh, all right then. Today might be a bit of a quiet day. But funny enough, the Palace way yesterday, they reported a lot of things as soon as we went off live. I guess it's a positive because I guess it's better to have it reported after the live because I don't know how on earth we would have considered talking about all of the things.
People were saying we need to get back on.
Exactly. No, that would have been crazy. Yesterday would have been crazy because there's a lot to talk about today. In the article, it's very very informative, which we'll be going through. So there's a lot to talk about. So thankfully, well, thank you to them for reporting it afterwards. And also, players going out on loan today. Incomings, outgoings, there's a lot. But hopefully everyone's doing well. As always, people, make sure to get involved throughout the show. Let's start off, as you can see from the title, with the Archie Brown rumors. There's a lot to talk about today. The midfield, the defense, the strike. Like, whatever question you have, the Palace way basically have answered it. So we're going to actually show the article to make lives easier. Then after we get through this article, we'll be answering your questions. We'll be going through one or two other things that weren't mentioned in this article, a few other rumors, but basically all the latest with Palace, you'll be covered. If you watch these shows daily, you won't be able to miss a thing with Palace. There's nowhere on earth you can miss it, which we have been doing for the last nearly 2 weeks, every single day. So yeah. All right, cool. Let's get started with this article. As you can see on the screen, it is from The Palace Way. Make sure to check them out, thepalaceway.com, and also on social media platforms. This is by Harris Armstrong, a journal for The Palace Way. And let's just walk through it. There's quite a bit in this article, which we'll stop and we'll discuss. But rather than me saying individually, I mean, as we're going to be talking about this article, might as well see the article for yourself as well. We're not going to be talking about Elon Musk. If you got 12 correct answers in this quiz, you have an IQ above 140. But maybe if you have enough likes, we can go through that today as well. we can go through that ad right there as well. It's a bit of a random one. But look, let's start off with this in the article. So of course, Marseille forward Ismaila Sarr, subject to have interest, deal to be completed. In fact, we're going to skip that line and we're going to land here because this was a discussion point yesterday. And when we did talk about Sarr, we did mention, is he an Elisa replacement? I disagree that he is. I said it yesterday. I don't think he should be. I think he should be more of a Jordan Ayew replacement. The Palace way, after that, it's like they've been listening to the show, answer that question. And they say that Sarr, a long-term target for Dougie Freedman, is not seen as a direct Michael Elise replacement and is viewed by Palace as a player who can offer pace and versatility across the front line. T, you'll know that I am very happy with this because this is exactly how I see Sarr. Someone with pace and versatility, but should not be seen as an Elisa replacement. For you, after we spoke about yesterday, is this a bit of a surprise to you? Because we've been talking about the right-hand side, saying that it's going to be Sarr and Kamada, but with this, does that mean there's one more coming in? Which we'll talk about in an article anyways.
I mean, I feel like it can go a lot of different ways. I mean, obviously, good to know that they plan to use him in a lot of different ways because that plays into his strengths because he has the ability to play across different positions. And as we talked about before, it seems like we really value those type of players in the club. And I mean, it could mean that there's possibly another signing on the horizon. Could possibly mean that they're just going to lean more on Kamada starting as in place of where Elise was. So I mean, it's kind of, it can go a lot of different ways, but good to know that they plan to use the skills of not only Kamada but also the skills of Sarr across multiple positions.
And when you see the versatility word being mentioned, then again the questions are there. I know some players not, some players might be able to play there. Does that versatility and pace mean that that is the right wing back solution as well? Because if Glasner can see him play there, then I guess we won't have to target another one. But that's a question that you can't answer or I can't answer because we don't know. I guess only time will tell. But that is positive news for me. Anyways, let's continue. Make sure to keep sending your questions and your thoughts as well. Don't worry, we will read them out. Sessegnon, who's been training with Palace, gone to Fulham. We know that as well. But this is where things get interesting with the left wing back position, which I think we can all agree on that we need to strengthen. And apparently after Sessegnon, which is not much of a surprise because Archie Brown has been mentioned before, Palace could act on their long-term interest in Ghent fullback Archie Brown. You could provide Tyrick Mitchell with much-needed competition at left wing back. We spoke about it yesterday. Archie Brown, could that be the move now? And it seems like he is in line. But I do have to stop there because before we went live, there has been a report from Alan Nixon. Alan Nixon has said the following, which actually spices things up even further with the left wing back position. He has mentioned that Franco Umar will be part of Crystal Palace's first team squad backup for Tyrick Mitchell. Umar was wanted on loan by several clubs, but Glasner has been impressed by him and thinks he can develop into a wing back. Archie Brown, Umar, I mean, what is going on with that position? Do we go for a left wing back? Do we give the academy a pathway, which we've been talking about yesterday and the days before with Raksaki and other players and Ademirola? Like, it's good though. That report is positive in a way that, Glasner has finally seen an academy player that he could potentially develop and he wants him to be in the first team squad. And in fact, loan moves have been rejected. But what does this mean for the future of this position? Who would you rather go for, T?
I mean, it's a good question, man. I think that Glasner has a really good eye for talent and ability. And obviously he's seeing something in Franco Umar that translates well to be in that position to back up a guy like Tyrick Mitchell, who is an Iron Man of sorts that has been for the past playing so many matches. So it's one of those situations where more than likely Franco Umar won't be called upon a lot. So you have the chance to be in the first team, to train on a daily and weekly basis, to learn and soak things up while not having to be heavily dependent on come game day. So I think it's a good situation for him, and I think it's one of those things that if your manager is seeing something and he wants to go with it, I think it's a good thing because then that allows us to maximize our spending in other areas, which is, I feel like, something that's going to be really important for us moving forward.
Mm-hmm. By the way, if you're enjoying the show, hit the like button, people, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. There's a lot more in this article. Plus, we got one or two things after this article as well to talk about. But as always, get involved. I can see comments saying that's great news for Ume. Twist is saying neither. He wouldn't want Archie Brown or Ume. And he wouldn't want Roberto Carlos because he's overrated. So
what would Twisted want? Jesus Christ playing left back? Jesus, what do you want, bro? I need the Lord and Savior over there. He's the only one that can help us.
I don't know. Twisted is the answer. I don't know. That is funny. That is actually funny. I don't know who Twisted would want. And Twisted has very high standards. That's why
very high
based on the players.
My man Patrick tapping in. Always loved Alan Nixon. Top journal.
Mentioned it. I think there was a question to Patrick yesterday about Ume and his future at football club. So it's good to see that also being answered, as Patrick is saying there. Is the pathway he exactly wants to see. And I think majority of the Palace fans do want to see a pathway for these academy players. And, there's been a few that's been sent out on loan. We'll see what happens with Raksaki. But yeah, so let's see exactly what actually happens. But
and I mean, if you think about it, the thing that's nice, the thing that's nice is the fact that now we have three examples or potentially three examples of pathways for academy players into our first team. Jez, David Ozo, and now Ume. Those are three guys that with Ozo and what stands to be Jez going out on significant loans at high level teams. We stand to have three guys that one is already like he's on the fast track. He's going to be integrating to the first team right now. Funny enough, he's the youngest of the three, but it's great to see that we have multiple examples of academy players that are now having a significant chance to be integrated into the first team within the next year.
What does it mean for Teo? Because as Guy is pointing out, guessing they prefer Ume over Teo. Like, what does this actually mean for the future of Teo, who's actually been sent out on loan, and Ume's been told you're not going out on loan because I can see you developing into a left wing back? That's not really a great look, is it?
Hey man, what more do you need to know? The younger of the two is staying with the first team, is reportedly staying with the first team, is going to be the backup left back. The other one, that's 2 years older, is going out on loan to a League One club.
That's not really a great look. It's not.
It's
great
not. It's not.
Teo's future at a football club, unless he destroys it at League One. But yeah, it's not the best of looks for Teo. But let's see what happens with him. Hopefully, he has a very good loan move. But Ume as that backup option, of course, only time will tell. But Archie Brown has been mentioned there as well, and Alan Nixon's reported that today. So we'll see what we decide to go for. I mean, Archie Brown and Ume could still work because Archie Brown, as you can see in the article, he is capable of playing more centrally.
Yeah, because he's taller.
Yeah,
and he's like 6'2".
Yeah, because Arsenal are doing that with California as well. He's a left centre back, but he can play left back as well. So maybe Archie Brown could be that versatile player. But we need to land here. For me, this was a massive red flag. Maybe you don't see it differently. Get involved in the chat as well. And this next paragraph is very interesting. Brown is capable of playing more centrally. That's not a problem. Is not the only defensive target that the Eagles have their sights on. The club are also in the market for another centre-back following the arrival of Chadi Riyad in June. Thomas Arejo and Dortmund's Sumala Koulibaly are names that are being considered. For me, I'll be honest, we don't need another centre-back. And only
I feel like that's
maybe you might be thinking I'm being negative, but the only explanation is Mark Guehi.
Yeah, I think
we don't need six.
I think that's us doing our due diligence on the young center back market in the event that we lose Mark Guehi, because of the fact that if in the event that we lose Mark, it'll be with a short amount of time left in the window. So the thing that we need to make sure that we have down is our scouting, valuations, all those things of players, because once that happens and we lose Mark, we need to make sure that we're doing what we need to do on the back end and bring somebody in sooner rather than later. So we're not caught in situations like we've been in the past where we lose a guy and he doesn't get replaced in that same window. We have to go into the season shorthanded.
Yeah, for me, when I saw that, it's the fact that we are in the market for another centre back. It's like, it's not we're in the market. That's like basically exploring like another centre back. That just made me think when I was going to announce that Mark is not signing another contract. That's the first thing that came to my head. Maybe I'm wrong, but the names that's been mentioned there to you as well. I know we're talking about younger centre halves, but these are players which you would expect them to come into the first team. I mean, I think some of them, correct me if I'm wrong, have been mentioned as Guehi potential replacements, no? In the past.
I mean, we've seen a lot of reports about that. Like, we've had shows that talked about Maxence Lacroix possibly being a target for us in the event that we lose a guy like Mark Guehi. I think the way that I want to look at this and the way that I want to take this so that I'm not feeling too negative or anything like that about the way things are going, I feel like it's just us making sure we're doing our due diligence as a club to be prepared for any scenario that happens. And I think that's what you're supposed to do in this business. I think that's what you're supposed to do as, what Dougie's supposed to do in his role is to make sure that we have targets and options available in the event that any player leaves, whether that's Mateta, whether that's Adam Wharton, whether that's Anderson, Guehi. We need to have. He's probably got a huge matrix board in his office that just has names from all over the world at different positions that could fall into our scouting network and our evaluation, so that we know from the minute that the Guehi deal goes through, hey, we need to put out feelers on this guy, and this guy, and see who we can bring in.
And also about this comment, Patrick, I don't think they did. They didn't say that the Sessegnon deal was done deal. Like, I didn't see anything that like that from the Palace way. So
I don't think I've ever seen any reports.
No one. Yeah, I don't. Maybe someone said done deal, but I didn't see the Palace way saying.
The first thing I saw was that I think the closest thing to that was after he made the move. After they came out that he's going to go to Fulham, they were saying that we had a contract ready for him after the US tour. Yeah. That was the first thing I seen about anything.
And that was not from them as well. That was from Graham Bailey.
Bailey,
The Palace way haven't actually reported that, and they are pretty reliable as well for their Palace news. Let's move on. Sule, which we spoke about before, is cooled down significantly. Of course, he's gone to Roma. The reason for that is Douglas Friedman, after watching the Argentine at the end of last season, did not feel the asking price was a reflection of the player's current ability and potential. So that is, of course, we know about. Nusa, which we actually spoke about recently, has been also heavily explored. The report suggests that the clubs are currently apart in valuation, with Palace reluctant to meet Club Brugge's current demands. It is possible that Palace could revisit the deal at a later stage, but currently looking into alternative options. So, it doesn't feel like that Nusa deal is as done as it was reported the other day, because we were talking about this in a report that the Norwegian's injury record has always been evident to Palace, and that was the supposed report of injury concerns and whether he might, Palace are double thinking it now. But it seems like that is not the problem. It seems like the valuation is the main reason, and it seems like that is not completely off.
I think the two are tied to one another for Palace. I think that his injury record and the fallout from said injury record with other clubs has led to and affected the way we value him in the market. And I think that for Bruges, they're like, hey, he's healthy, he checks out, his records are fine. This is what we value him at. And I think that's the chasm that we're seeing. Palace is like, hey, we understand he has this and these issues. And because of these issues, this is where we place his value. Here's what we're willing to pay for him. And Bruges is on another level, and they're saying, hey, he's fine. What happened was by choice, because I've heard reports that said I've heard reports that he failed the medical with Brentford. I've also seen reports that said he passed the medical, but there were areas that were flagged. His knee was flagged, and Brentford didn't want to move forward because of the flag that they saw. But either way, Bruges is probably like, hey, he's fine. He played the rest of the season for us. He's healthy. Here's what we value him at. And that seems to be the issue at hand. And I guess it's not dead because of the fact that Palace feel like, okay, well, we'll let the window drag on. And when they don't get any interest from other clubs, eventually they'll probably be willing to come down on their number to something that we can talk about, and maybe we make a move.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, when we're looking at also the price tag, I think we're basically hoping that it's at a reduced price. So yeah, I mean, Brentford apparently made a gentleman's agreement with Club Brugge that to not pursue Nusa any further to complete, because they signed Igor Thiago from Club Brugge already for £30 million.
Who's actually seriously hurt now?
It's seriously hurt. Exactly.
Y'all put out $30 million for him, and it's crazy.
Exactly. So that's not off the radar, which is good to know. And Smith Rowe, we know the price was too high, so we think there will be better value. Gabriel Sarr, who's been mentioned, James McTee as well as another potential attacking midfield option. These are two players that we've mentioned before, but it's gone a bit quiet. And And apparently with the Man City youngster, he'll be significantly cheaper alternative to Smith Rowe, which is good to know. We'll see if anything further comes out from that. And in terms of attacking options, Eddie Nketiah as a striker looks increasingly likely to head to Marseille, who's been linked with us. And Barry, who you've wanted a lot, he's been mentioned with us quite a few times. That seems like it could potentially happen. The 21-year-old's progress has been tracked for a considerable amount of time, and it could be the solution if Ayew or Edouard to depart. So that could be the targets in that area. Let me go through some of the comments. Rachel saying, if we lose Eze, Palace will end up paying what Bruges want. In terms of all these players, then Nketiah, Barry, the wide options, the forward options. These are names that we've heard of before. I guess the biggest one is that Nusa is not really done deal. Like, it's not finished. That there's a potential there in the future, and that might go down the line. But surely we want to sign a player before it gets to like deadline day or before it gets to the end of the window. Because what if we can't find a deal? Then things get a bit more tricky.
Yeah,
delaying it that long.
Yeah, I definitely would want us to be in a position where, when it comes down to deadline day, we've done significant enough business to where if a last minute move doesn't come together, it doesn't set us back in a big way at all.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the article. Of course, you can go read it for yourself at the Palace and thepalaceway.com on Google or wherever you search for your websites. But yeah, as we went through the article, a lot of it was heavily focused on that. However, also 2 players have gone out on loan. As we've mentioned, Teo Ademirola has gone out on loan, and he has gone to Stockport County for the remainder of the following season. And Danny Imre has officially joined Bromley on loan. Imre one is still a shock to me because I would have rated him higher than Bromley with all due respect. But Teo, it's not really looking great for him either, with Umar being as a backup option. I mean, but I don't know if Imre's situation is as bad as Teo's, because I think Teo's a bit like, we won't send this player out on loan and you can go out on loan, Teo, to develop. So, I mean, he's way more far off.
Yeah, I think Imre's situation is definitely more in his infancy. I mean, this is his first time going out on loan for Danny Imre. Whereas Teo has had a championship loan with Coventry. They got cut short due to his inability. He went to Molenbeek, which was our sister club, and was underwhelming there as well. Had some starts, but overall was underwhelming. So I think it sounds like Teo's kind of like in that same bucket as like a Malcolm Ebiule, like just has struck out on multiple occasions, and now he finds himself going on a League One loan, which out of all the loan moves he's done to this point is by far the lowest level. And we're hearing rumors that a kid that's younger than him is being kept in the first team to be the backup to the same position that he plays. So that's tough, man. That's tough. I mean, in Imre's case, I guess it's just a matter of, his progression and making sure that it's trying to test what level he might be at. So sending him to League 2 to see how he performs, and then, from there, maybe seeing what his next move may be. But
yeah, Imre needs to smash League 2. As Rich was saying, he needs to really, because I don't know, I expected a bit more from him, especially if he's going out on loan in terms of like maybe a higher league or.
Tell you what, the last fullback of ours that went to Bromley went there, and his Palace career was pretty much over.
Yeah,
after that.
Hannah.
Was it Reese Hannah?
Yeah.
Reese Hannah.
Is he still playing?
He's still playing, but he's like he's that level. I think he's like in League 2 somewhere.
League 2, yeah, exactly. So let's see what happens with Imre. But if you're enjoying the stream, people, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already done so, as we're closing in on 5,000 subscribers. Also tomorrow, live match reaction after the Crawley game, during the Crawley game, live watch along as well. So loads of Palace content coming your way. So turn on the notification bell if you haven't done so already. Now, let's go through some of the questions before we do wrap up. Animal saying, start off with input a Q and a dot before it if you do have any questions. Yesterday, we couldn't answer every single one of you lot's questions because there's so many of you and so many questions, and it was a very busy show. But we'll try to go through them all today. Where is Sule going? I've seen Leicester and I've seen Roma. I think he's off to Roma. That's the done deal.
Yeah, they announced it's done deal. He's going to Roma for 26 million euros plus 4 in add-ons.
Yeah. Animal also saying, would you go all out for Somerville? Somerville doesn't really get mentioned. I mean, 40 million is too much. I don't.
I'm not going all out for him for 40 million.
Yeah, I don't think we will. I mean, Smith Rowe situation kind of said it all. We didn't see the valuation for him.
Right, and that's a guy that's a Premier League proven player.
Exactly. You know so I think Somerville would just hope more than anything that is, solid. So I would be very surprised for that. Gabriel saying maybe we will sign a right wing back as well. Maybe Brown can be that. I don't think he can be a right wing back, can he?
He's left-footed. He plays along the left side. I don't think he has much experience playing a right wing back. I don't think that would be a move we want to do. I think we would probably want to bring in an actual right wing back. And I could see us doing that for sure.
Yeah, so, well, it depends on Sarr. I know it's still like, he's not a right wing back, he's a right wing back, he's this, is that, but let's see how Glasner actually using him, because the article did mention that he's not an Elisa replacement. We're using him for pace and versatility. The question is, versatile in what positions? Is that striker, behind Kamada, and right wing back? Is it just as a right wing back striker? Is it just a striker? We don't know. We know that he's versatile, but we don't know how Palace actually see him being effective. In what role? So
right.
We'll see hopefully in this pre-season. Eagle Eye Football saying, do you think a bid might be coming in for Mitchell? I don't think so. I mean, we spoke about yesterday Manchester United interest, but then he's got 3 years left in his contract. So
I can see it coming in next year. Which is a reason why you probably are trying to fast track a kid like Franco Ume.
Is it? I don't think it's regarding the bid. I mean, he signed a contract with us for 3 more years, so I'm not worried about it. Why next year? Just out of curiosity.
Because next year he'll have 2 years left, and that's when he may.
If he just
get interest,
I'm sure that we can probably sort out another deal. But with him, I don't see it being a Guehi situation. I mean, even the contract was signed quietly behind closed doors. We didn't know they signed another contract, so I'm not really worried about Mitchell potentially leaving or bid coming in next year. I think it's gone quiet with Mitchell, really. I mean, the only time we mentioned Mitchell, even in this window, was yesterday. Apart from yesterday, have we really talked about Tyrick Mitchell? We spoke about Archie Brown because Archie Brown is like a Mitchell backup option, but there hasn't been any serious claims of Mitchell leaving. So I'll be surprised if Mitchell also leave. I think he'll be at Palace for the foreseeable future. Spiritual saying, which under 21 player is likely to impress pre-season? Well,
I mean, like Franco Ume is in line.
Yeah, that's the one. Exactly. I feel like he has already.
Well, he's going to be the one that you're going to get the best chance to see in preseason, more than likely. I mean,
who else is really left? I mean,
Jez. I mean, Jez is still with us.
Is he really under 21 player? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as far as age is concerned, yeah.
Yeah, age is concerned, yeah. But I mean, you see more of like a first team impact. I feel like he's kind of growing out that under 21 tag. I know he hasn't really played out any first team football, but
I mean, it's just one of those things. If you're a certain age and you don't count against the first team number, I'm calling you under 21.
But even with Jess, that's gone a bit quiet over the last few days.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I saw some about Leeds.
Yeah, Southampton is improving, and then we know that half of the championship wants him. But I don't think Jez is maybe he still can impress Glasner and change his mind, but that situation seems a bit more complicated with Southampton getting involved. Otherwise, it's not really a complicated situation. Goes out on loan, comes back the following year. But with Southampton, let's see what the club actually decides to do, and let's see how much they're willing to pay for Jez. Because someone did mention in the comment section, by the way, let us know your comments if you're watching on replay in the comment section down below. We'll try to answer them because I try to answer as many as possible. And there was a very good question there saying, I would not be against sending Jez out on loan to Southampton, but my reply to that, I didn't have the time, I'm going to do the reply after the stream, would be the problem is they want an option to buy. If they just wanted to loan me for Jez in the Premier League, I don't think Palace would be against that. Why would he not go and play Premier League football? That's the best type of development. but it's that option to buy, and they seem like they're pushing, and the bids are getting higher and higher. Twist is saying, should we sell Miteta and buy Tony for £40 million? That's just a dream. Like, I don't think that will ever happen. I mean, I don't think Tony will come to Palace. Leave Brentford to come to Palace. I don't think that will happen. That won't be happening. But
I don't think we would go out and get him. Like, I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, exactly. So I
don't see that happen.
Yeah,
smashing our transfer record for what is he, 27? About to be 28? I don't think that's happening.
I don't know. Is he that old?
I think he is.
He might be. I'm saying I want to see Teo on loan. He needs to show something, or he's in danger of missing the chance. I think that is a fair comment to make, especially where he's going out on loan. After Wan-Bissaka deal, I'm surprised it has taken so long for interest in Mitchell after his form for the last 2 years. I mean, Mitchell's always gone kind of. People do talk about him being, a good left back, especially the neutrals, but it's not really a player that's been linked with a lot of clubs. To be fair, have they? I can't remember. I mean, Mitchell's always gone fairly like under the radar, even though at times he's been hyped up. Like, there's never been serious interest in Mitchell leaving Palace to go where. I can never think of any top 6 clubs being.
No, I don't think so. And I think
maybe United.
I don't even think it would. Like, I never feel like there may have been some mention, but nothing ever like serious that made you worried. I think the thing that the reason why we may have not seen that is because he doesn't fit the modern. Well, prior to now, he hadn't fit the description of a modern fullback because he was definitely more defensively inclined than attacking. I think now in Glasner's system, people are starting to see though that he can be an effective attacker.
I think, and that is why there might be that interest you talked
about. And I think
maybe
after this year, in a full year under Glasner, like even in that small sample size, I mean, I think he had like 3 assists under Glasner, 2 or 3 assists. Like, so he's getting involved, and if he ever puts together a decent scoring record, who knows what could happen with him.
Let's talk about this quickly. Louis saying, would you take Aaron Wan-Bissaka back? First of all, I think he's fixated on going to Inter rather than staying in the Premier League because West Ham wanted him and he basically rejected West Ham. And 2, with the Wan-Bissaka situation, as much as it sounds great in terms of bringing him back as a backup option to Munoz, that's fantastic in my opinion. It's not realistic with his wages, with him also probably wanting to play. Like, it just doesn't make any sense for me. But if let's say in the dream world, he didn't mind being the second option to Munoz and wages weren't in the shoe, then there's nothing wrong with it. But realistically, I just don't see anything like that happening.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it. I mean, now the one thing I would say is, like, they put out that price and saying that they would take 10 million for him. If we were able to swing it for 10 mil, I feel like that's definitely a conversation worth having.
Yeah, but then again, I don't think it's about the price tag. I don't think it's ever really been about a price of Wan-Bissaka. It's about being the whole situation being realistic for him. Like, if he comes to Palace, what is he going to do at Palace? Is he going to be a starter? Well, you can't guarantee that with Munoz. I'm sorry, Munoz offers more going forward than Wan-Bissaka does. So
yeah, I don't think they guarantee him that if he goes to Inter either. You know what I mean? Like,
but then what they're saying is Dumfries is going to be going to United. Well, that was the rumors anyways, and then Wan-Bissaka goes there. So there's going to be like a swap. So he was going to be a starter. So
maybe.
Yeah. I just don't see him coming to Palace. It's on the bench. I just don't see that happening, and I don't think Palace will pay that much wages as well for a player of that standards. But yeah, I mean, let's see what happens with the right wing back position. Maybe Sarr is that player. Maybe he isn't. If he isn't, then we need to 100% another right wing back. But then left wing back is getting interesting as well with Uma. With his situation. Kyle saying, feel like he's good enough for top 6 depth. This is about Mitchell, I'm guessing. Don't see him as a top starter and don't think he will leave to sit on the bench. What is Mitchell's ceiling and current ability, in your opinion? Because I think with Glasner, we saw him reach very good level, especially attacking and also defensively. He was fantastic. Do you think if he stays consistently enough, do you think he can be a top 6 starter?
I think he could be, but I don't know. For some reason, I could envision seeing Mitchell go somewhere abroad and have a lot of success and probably be playing Champions League or if not Europa League football somewhere else where the defensive acumen is still really valued. I don't know if he's gonna play expansive enough of a game to play for some of those top 6 sides in the way that they want to play, but no.
Yeah. Well, look, people, we're going to keep it at this for today. Nothing longer. We went through everything. So if you're just joining us now, make sure to go to the start of the stream to catch up on all the news. And most importantly, make sure to subscribe. Subscribe so you don't miss our future Palace content. Tomorrow at around 12 o'clock, we will be live for the watch along of the game. Then after the game, it doesn't stop there. We'll be here for the live match reaction with the crew, as well as we're going through your comments. Hopefully a win. Hopefully some Joachim Andersen can play, Rich can play. So there'll be a lot of content at Back of the Nest. So make sure your eyes are peeled for that. And most importantly, if you're just joining us now, watching the show on replay, and you have any questions or thoughts, put them in the comment section down below. That's it from me and T. And until next time, after Palace.
Up to Palace.